Hey, welcome to the Hell Has an Exit podcast. I'm your host, Brian Alzate. This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 833-999-1877 to speak to a specialist. The show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com. All right, hey, welcome to Hell Has an Exit. I'm your host, Brian Alzate. I'm back in Florida. I've been away traveling. That's why the podcast have kind of been, I think I missed one episode. We just opened a treatment center in California in Laguna Hills. If anyone's struggling, you can go to unitedrecoveryproject.com. We have a 24-hour hotline. You can always check us out on Instagram, United_recovery. If you guys are listening to the podcast, please like and subscribe and tell your friends about it. We are active on Instagram at Hell Has an Exit. We're on YouTube. We're on video, audio. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find us. This podcast is brought to you by DB Podcast. These guys are the professional museum quality podcasters. Shout out to Miles Davis and Jordan Winter. On this show, we interview recovering addicts, people who have lived through hell and have come out the other side. And today we have Ryan C. I've known Ryan basically since he's been clean. I saw him the other day, and I was like, yo, you got to hop on the podcast. So welcome, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
Where are you from?
Northern California, wine country, right below the Emerald Triangle, which is where all the marijuana is grown, which played a big part.
That's what it's called, is Emerald Triangle?
Yeah, it's like Humboldt County, Mendocino County, and I forget what the third county is, but which ended up playing a huge part in.
What was growing up like in Northern California?
Elementary school was very rough for me. I had undiagnosed ADHD, which made me a very annoying kid. I am short, but I was even shorter back then. Fat, glasses, so especially in like the early 90s, 4 eyes, tubby, tub of lard, all that stuff. That's what I got made fun of a lot for, up to the point to where, I remember the first time of thinking about suicide, I was 9. I remember that exact moment like it was yesterday. Like I was in the bathroom, boys' bathroom, by myself, on the ground, crying my eyes out, thinking like I would rather just die than deal with.
Because people were bullying you so bad?
Yeah. In 6th grade, I got tested for ADHD, and, I was off the charts, and, they decided to put me on Adderall and switch school districts. That summer, because of the Adderall, I lost a lot of weight, and, I started a whole new thing with a whole new group of people. It was still the same, but just a little bit different. Wasn't as bad. 8th grade, was I put a shotgun in my mouth.
So you had your own shotgun?
I had my own shotgun underneath my bed.
And you put it in your mouth, try to kill yourself?
That's where I was at.
So you had a shotgun under your bed and try to kill yourself with it?
I was on the verge of it,
You're thinking about it.
I heard my mom walk in to the house. That's where I was at, and then like high school came around. I reinvented myself again. Like I was always that kid that like I had groups of friends in every group. But like up until like the first time I ever used was like, I was like the good kid. Like I didn't drink, like I was, compared to my friends, I was a late bloomer. That just wasn't me. It was Christmas break, sophomore year. Something happened with a female. My dad is an alcoholic. I went to his cabinet and I found a 5th of alcohol and I poured it into a Gatorade bottle, went down to the elementary school park down the street from my house, drank it, blacked out. That was the first time I ever drank.
By yourself?
By myself. And I loved it because I wasn't me anymore. I had no care in the world. I didn't have to feel anything. Summer going into junior year was like the first time I ever used drugs. So like, everyone was popping ecstasy. Thizzles is what we call them,
You guys call them fizzles?
Thizzles. Thizzing out, right? And like, I still remember the first pill I ever popped. It was a blue unicorn. That was it, man. That feeling, all those endorphins, all that serotonin, I loved that shit. I started selling them. And like my nickname in high school was Thizzle because like I always had them. I always sold them. I was doing ecstasy before I was smoking weed.
Wow.
Then the weed came, and then junior year got real big into cocaine. The whole crack thing was something completely different. But yeah, so high school, I did so many pills, like popped so many ecstasy pills that my body, I probably would say like in that year I probably popped well over 500. Wow. Like I was doing them at summer school. I was doing them every weekend. I was, what I'm saying? And like, it just mattered how I felt that day. Like, do I want to do 2 and just be rolling balls, or 3 of them and I'm sitting on the couch for the rest of the night? Like I can't even move. But like to the point where like my body started to like reject them. Like I'd pop them and I'd throw them up.
Wow.
Like I couldn't even do it no more. The only way I could do it was like crush them up, put them in a drink and drink it. And then, I phased out of that. Like senior year, like I was just drinking and smoking weed. I stopped doing all the other drugs. But drinking was still a big part of my problem, and it always led to almost everything else, like Oxycontin. My senior year, I was 18 my whole senior year. I got like 4 minor possessions of like alcohol. I went to court. The judge was like, yo, go do, 30 days recovery program, 12-step based. So, I did that, whatever. After senior year, instead of going to summer school, I moved down to Huntington Beach because I had to get away from the drinking. I had to get away from the smoking. So I thought, a different location will change me up completely, which it didn't do because I brought myself with me. And the guy that we moved into was from Grass Valley who sold weed. So and then like one of the guys I moved in with just turned 21. Didn't last long at all. I was 5 months in and I wanted to move back up north. My mom was like, that's fine. Go do 60 days in a SLE, a sober living, a halfway, which is, they call them SLEs out there. And, that's when I really got into, I 60 days. I was going to meetings. I got a sponsor.
Wow.
I didn't do any step work, but like I was just figuring this out. I was 18. I was 19 years old. But like that's what really introduced me, and it planted a seed for me to know that I wasn't ready, but like I knew that there was something there. I graduate, I'm a super senior. Graduated at almost 20 years old, but I graduated high school, which is cool. Fast forward a couple years, I'm still doing the bullshit, and like I'm hanging out with my boys Joey and Gino at the time. Gino's full blown into Oxycontin. So like, he'd be freebasing it off the foil, chasing the dragon. Oh man, like, why are you doing that? Da 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 da. I would never do that. All those type of things. Like, that's disgusting. You're a fucking dope fiend. My boy Mikey and Joey were like, yo, let me use your car. We want to go pick up an 80. I was like, you're not using my car unless I go with you. I can't say peer pressured me. They were like, yo, do you just want to try this? And I was like, fuck it, dude. And I took my first hit of Oxycontin. I fell in love.
You smoked it or you snorted it?
I smoked it.
Oh, wow. And you liked it?
Oh, yeah.
You felt it?
Oh, yeah.
I used to smoke them every once in a while because a lot of people were smoking. I was like, dude, I don't feel it. I don't see the point of this. But I just like snorting them.
In the beginning was great. There could be, dude, 80s were $40 a pop. There could be 4 of us. We throw down $10, get 180 and be blitzed.
Yeah.
Like not so bad. It looks like you're tying your shoe. Like they were amazing. And then I found out the other ones, the 40s, the 60s. And like that's how I got introduced into opiates. Once that Oxycontin hit me, and that was completely different. And then, I tried to do the whole move thing again. Because, like, I knew that, like, I was going down this path. And, like, I wasn't at the point to where, like, I was only smoking them a few times a week, and I wasn't physically addicted to them yet. So I decided to move to Sacramento. Didn't change anything. I was only 2 hours away from home every week, and I'd drive the fuck back home. Go pick up some, sell them, make enough for the week, and go back home. I even tried to move to Utah one time. I lasted 3 days. It wasn't bad, though. Like, I could lightweight hold a job until the Oxycontin went away. But, yeah, that's the first time I ever used a needle because all we could get was Dilaudid. You can't smoke a Dilaudid. That was the first time I ever used a needle.
How old were you?
23, I think. 22,
okay.
23. But I wouldn't touch heroin still. Heroin was around, but, the blues were there. I could still lightweight get high off them. Heroin did, ended up coming. First was meth. The first time I ever did meth was I was fucking with this girl, Faith, and she was like, hey, you want to do some meth and fuck all night? And I was like, I'm in it to win it. Like, fuck it, let's go. And that was the first time I ever did meth. And then that started, that was from 2, I was smoking meth. I shot it once. Shooting meth is insane. You instantly come.
Is that real?
It's soft dick and all.
Really?
I swear to God.
Yeah, I've heard people doing that with shooting even coke.
It's the first time I ever did it. Only time I ever did it.
That's funny.
But yeah, that started my meth habit. And then, heroin ended up coming up after that because just 30s weren't doing anything for me no more.
Would you say your drug of choice was meth or heroin?
Heroin. The worst was fentanyl. 2014 was, we were doing the patches and shit, smoking the patches.
You would smoke the patches?
Yeah.
How would you smoke the patches?
We'd shoot them too.
Wow.
Smoking the patches was, you'd have to get the gel ones, not the patch, not the actual patch, but like the actual gel. And you'd put the glob on the piece of foil and then you'd get a water bottle and you'd cut this part off so it's a funnel.
How old are you when you start doing meth and heroin?
I'd probably say those were both the same year. So 2012, 24.
Pretty young. Did you want to get clean? Did you think about the 12-step program in that time?
During my whole so I got clean at 28, but from 22 when I like really started doing oxy. I'd go to meetings every now and then. I didn't want to get clean, but I wanted to want to get clean, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I was okay with how I was living, you know, like going to jail a few times. You know, I got 6 cases on me. You know, 3 of them are felonies. I was okay going in and out of rehabs. You know, I did 6 rehabs before I came down to Florida, you know.
What was like treatment like for you? Like, what was your treatment experience? Like, did you get anything out of it? Do you feel like the treatment center like served its purpose? Like
in California, no, because I never stayed. Like my first treatment experience was a place called Turning Point. It was a state-funded program that my probation officer told me to like go, and I got kicked out of there within 4 days. I went to this one place the other 5 times, and like I would never stay. Like it was too close to home. It was 30 minutes away, so I could call someone to come and pick me up. Mm-hmm. In 2014, fentanyl, like real powder, straight from China.
So you were buying
uncut,
straight fentanyl,
uncut.
Okay.
These 2 people that I knew, one of them from elementary school, they started, you know, they would get Bitcoins, right? $1,000 of Bitcoin, something like that. They would send it on the dark web to someone in China. They would get 10 grams of pure uncut fentanyl. It was fentanyl hydrochloride sent to us.
Did you buy drugs on the dark web too?
No, but I bought it from them.
You bought it from them who bought it on the dark web. That's so crazy.
And like they were making mad money.
How would you do it?
Smoke it. You couldn't do it any other way. You could not do that any other way. And I'm talking about so pure that the first time I ever smoked fentanyl, I overdosed. Like I fell out. Yeah. Like I woke up in the bathtub with the shower on me.
How much of it do you smoke? If they sell heroin by the 0.2, what would you be doing? Like 0.01s?
Let me tell you this much.
Like
back when I was hurting, like withdrawing really bad, if I gave my dealer $20 for 3 hits, I'd be well for 24 hours. So I'm talking about, so like it was my 26th birthday, right? I bought some fentanyl. It's my birthday. I had my boys over. They never done fentanyl before.
What a great way to celebrate your birthday.
Great. You know, we were supposed to go out to dinner. And but we were getting high first, you know. So I'm trying to explain to him, I was like, guys, this isn't pills. This isn't heroin. Like with heroin and pills, you hit it and you hold that bitch in and then you blow out.
Yeah.
With fentanyl, you small hits.
Really? That's how you smoke fentanyl?
Yeah. Because you hold that shit in, you're done.
You're done.
You're done.
I don't know why that makes me laugh, but
so I bought.
It's just crazy to me,
bro. So I bought a 10.
You can't hold the hit in because you'll die.
You will die. And I'm gonna tell you what happened. Check this out. I bought a 1/10 of a gram, right? A point of fentanyl, $150.
$150?
$150
for a 0.1.
They were buying grams for $100 a piece and selling it out for $150 a point, making $1,500 off each, so $1,400 profit off each.
The dark web. Wow.
They would buy 10 grams for $1,000 and then sell each gram for $1,500. I'm explaining to them, small hits, that big. We're not doing trails. We're not, whatever, small hits. So I hit mine. I passed it on. I'm talking to one of my other friends, right? I get back the I get it back. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did it all go? I was like, I told you guys small hits. And I turn around to A-Train, bow, done. Fell out. He's like, all right, cool. So I turn around and I go to pick up A-Train's arms so he can grab the legs. And then I turn back around, Sang's out. Fell out, overdosing.
You guys didn't have Narcan?
Listen, so me and my boy Ryan are like, yo, let's go pick him up and put him in the bathtub. So we pick up A-Train and we actually dropped him into the TV. I'm like, fuck, dude, he's out. He's turning purple way faster than saying. I had liquid Narcan.
Oh, you really did?
I had so I grabbed a needle, 90 cc's.
Just like in Pulp Fiction?
Yep, 90 cc's of liquid Narcan and I fucking hit him with it. Like, I only had to call 911 once and I had to drop Sang off at the hospital one time. Other than that, and like I was
So how do you drop him off? Like in a polite way?
Yeah, we just bring, like pull up to the thing, running, hey, I got a kid overdosing. Can you come out and grab him? They come out and grab him. But like California ended up passing, I forget what the bill.
But it's basically like if you call someone overdosing, they can't arrest you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Good Samaritan Law.
Yeah.
One of my ex from high school, Lisa, she passed away from a drug overdose. My boy Ziggy, 2011. I don't know what the fuck he was on, but he decided, I don't know if he just wanted money or what it was, the lifestyle. I don't know if he was on drugs. I don't know, but he decided to rob a prostitute, got into a gunfight with the pimp, and he got hit and he died by himself. That was like my guy, like back in like he didn't care about my drug use. Like he still wanted to hang out with me. Like, it didn't matter to him. And, like, I didn't have that. Mm-hmm. all my friends left me as soon as they knew I was like doing like hardcore, like not drinking and smoking, but like real drugs.
So then what scenario led you to get clean?
I burnt all my bridges, right? Like I was pretty much homeless. Or if I couldn't find a couch to sleep on or a car to sleep in, like I'd sleep on a bench outside, which is weird because that's right around where I found crack. We used to do these things called Blastoffs, where you dip the crack into the fentanyl gel and then you smoke it.
You dip the crack into the fentanyl gel and you smoke it out of a crack pipe?
Yep.
You know what I never did is a hot rail.
Oh, I loved hot rails.
You did hot rails?
Oh, yeah.
It's better than snorting them?
I wasn't a big snorter. I didn't like...
You didn't like snorting them, huh?
Just doing a hot rail to me was just cool because like you would snort powder and blow out smoke. And like to me, like that was...
So wait, you would dip crack in fentanyl gel from the patch and smoke it?
Yep.
I guess it's like a speedball.
Yeah. I did hippie flip one time. What's
a hippie flip?
When you do shrooms and ecstasy at the same time.
Shrooms and ecstasy.
That was intense. That was the last time I ever did shrooms.
Shrooms and ecstasy?
Bad trip.
Yeah. The last time I did acid, I got tasered by the cops.
Jesus Christ.
With my pants down. As soon as I took the acid, it started to hit me so hard. It was so weird because normally acid takes like 30, 40 minutes. I am tripping balls. And this kid, Kevin, has a bag of joints, pre-rolled joints. He hands me one and lights it up and hands it to me. And he gets up and leaves. And I don't smoke weed at this point. Like, since 8th grade, I stopped smoking weed because I would get too paranoid.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I smoked the joint. And then I was like, that was the worst thing I could have done. I just instantly felt like I was going inside out. Like I didn't know where I was. I couldn't understand why we were at this fucking concert. And I remember I was freaking out. And I told this girl, Chelsea Rickman, shout out Chelsea Rickman. I was like, yo, I'm not okay. And she's like, Brian, we feel the same way you feel. I'm like, no, I'm different. Like something is wrong. Like I need to go somewhere. I'm like, I gotta go. People are like, Brian, sit down. You're totally okay. I was like, no, I'm freaking out. I gotta go. And I remember like I pushed somebody, I like grabbed somebody and like I thought like I could do whatever I wanted. And then I black out and I'm in an office and I'm handcuffed. And I think that I got abducted by aliens. And I remember the cop is like, dude, tell me where your friends are or you're going to jail. And I'm like, fuck you, spitting on him, motherfucker. You're not even real. And I end up blackout again, and now I'm outside, and I start running, handcuffed. And I'm wearing, like, board shorts with, like, no underwear, and, like, I don't know where my shoes are or anything. And my board shorts start, like, slipping, and I start to trip, and then I feel this, like, immense pain. And I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, oh, my God, you have to go to hell to get to heaven. Like, I need to feel this pain to get to heaven. And I black out again. And I remember, like, this thought of, like, gravel in my mouth. Like, I just remember gravel being, like, hit in my face. And I'm walking back to the parking lot, and my friend Christian is like, bro, stop, like, fucking around. You just got tased by the cops. Like, just chill out. And I was like, oh, my God, I got tased. So in the car, I tried to jump out the car, and my brother's, like, grabbing me by my belt, like, get the fuck in the car. Like, my poor brother, like, he's older than me, just like I'm off the chain. And then when I wake up in the morning, I go and eat cereal, have zero recollection of it. Like, nothing happened. I thought, like, I didn't do anything yesterday. Like, I don't know if you've ever done Xanax, but it was like, I felt like I did a Xanax and, like, the whole day was erased. Like, I didn't remember anything. And then when I was eating cereal, I looked at my wrist, and my wrists were all cut. Like, I know that's from handcuffs. And I was like, oh, my God, was I in handcuffs yesterday? And then I was like, what happened yesterday? And I look at my phone, and everybody's like, you're an idiot. You fucking retard. Jimmy's never going to talk to you ever again. You spit in his face. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, what the fuck? And then for years, when I would go to house parties or anywhere, there'd always be that one kid who would be like, dude, you're that kid who got tasered at the fucking 311 concert with your fucking pants to your ankles and your dick out. Like, thanks for bringing that up, you know?
Yo, hallucinogens are so weird because, like, I kind of had not the same experience, but, like, a similar type of experience.
For years, people would bring it up. You're that kid from that concert. So, how do you get clean?
In the beginning, I just wanted to stop going to jail and stop being homeless. Mm-hmm. That's literally what it was for me. Because...
Now, you were, like, homeless, or, like, I didn't have a place to live for a couple of days homeless?
For about 3-4 months, I didn't have anywhere to live.
3-4 months, you're on the street. Of San Francisco?
No, back home. So, and like at this point, like all the cops know who the fuck I am. Like I was at a point where like I was getting raided once a month. So like the cops know who the fuck I am, you know? I would go to the casino, because there's a casino in my town. I'd stay in there until I got kicked out. And then at 3 a.m., I was always around 3, I would try to go find somewhere to sleep. And if I couldn't sneak into my dad's garage, or I couldn't sneak into one of my friend's cars, I'd find a bench and I'd sleep. Prior to this, my mom put on the garbage company that I worked there. So
your parents own a garbage company?
Yeah. So I ended up getting insurance. And my mom calls a place that's no longer around. Kind of sets me up, right? Like, I don't know any...
Gets you into treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, listen, we found this place. It's in Miami, right? This is June 2016. It's in Miami. Do you want to go? And like, at this point, it's like, they're like, you have to go do over 60 days though. Like you need like a long-term program. Like not, the 30-day shit's not fucking working. Because for a very long time, they didn't know that I was using. If you looked at me, you knew that I was using, but like they didn't have like the 100% thing.
Yeah, it's so funny because like parents are in such denial that like they really need a drug test. And then you can even tell them that like, dude, the drug test is wrong. Like, like there were so many times where I'm like, dude, why do my parents just put me in a treatment center? But like when you're a parent, you just don't want to know that, like, you just think that they're going to come out of it. Like, and then when you confront an addict, they're so aggressive and crazy that like you don't want to confront them. Yeah. And we really like, terrorize our family to them being scared to even talking to us about it. Because every time someone would talk to me about my drug problem, I would be like, what the fuck? I don't have a fucking drug problem. Da, 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 da. And then gaslight them to make them feel crazy, It
got to the point to where, like, if I went around my mom's house and she knew I was around there, she'd call the cops. It's not Baker Act out there, but it's 5150 out there because of it. Yeah, they didn't find out a drug test. They found out because I pretty much killed, technically, he came back in the ambulance, but technically I killed my brother-in-law.
So your brother-in-law, you got him to do fentanyl, or he was already doing it?
No, he kind of was asking about like Norcos and shit, and I was like, listen, I don't have that. I have this. Do you want to do this? And he's like, all right, sure. And then
he smoked it?
He smoked it, and he fell out, and I'm giving him CPR, dude. I'm sweating balls, right?
You really have done a lot of CPR.
Yeah, giving him CPR, trying to get him to fucking come back.
Were you ever CPR certified during your using?
Oh, no. No, I'm CPR certified now. The cops ended up showing up because there was a noise complaint. So like they're like, yo, get out. I was like, yo, he's fucking dying.
They never called an ambulance.
Call an ambulance. Yeah, the cops did. So like I get out. This was in an RV, by the way, in the back of my dad's house where I was fucking living in at this point. I get out the RV. I start walking away and they're like, yo, stop. I was like, dude, good Samaritan Law. Can't even ask me who the fuck I am. They're like, Ryan, we know it's you. It ended up being a cop who was a neighbor of mine. He's like, sit the fuck down. He's like, we didn't come here for a good Samaritan Law. We came here because of a noise complaint. My sister ended up calling my stepdad. My stepdad knows the cops, had them arrest me and my sister, and we go to jail. But that's how they found out that I was back on drugs. Technically, I never stopped, but...
Because you killed your brother-in-law.
He died in the ambulance. They brought him back, but yeah.
So then they were like, treatment's a good idea?
They came at me. I was still in like that state of mind where it's like, oh, you think I'm a drug addict? Let me show you how bad of a drug addict I'm really going to be now.
Why do we do that?
I don't fucking know, man. We're just warped in the head, especially at that point. So my mom's like, listen, there's this place in Florida. Do you want to go? And my mind state was like, yo, I'm fucking homeless. I can't get high no more. Finding fentanyl is way too hard because one of the drug dealers ended up going to fucking jail. So can't find him. My heroin connect went to jail. I was like, fuck it. I was like, yo, Miami, summertime, let's go. I come down here, right? I do my 78 days in treatment.
Okay.
I don't want to stop though. And I use the excuse of me having 50 grand in warrants back home. So I go back home. I tell everyone, don't worry, I'm coming back. I'm going to do halfway, blah, blah, whatever. I get high as soon as 12 hours after me being off the plane. I get my court shit done. Like I finally see my judge and I show, I just did 70 days in treatment. I'm trying to go back to Florida, She was like, all right, that's fine. If I ever see you on any docket in the state of California again, you're getting max time and you're going to fucking prison. I'm tired of seeing you in my fucking courtroom. I was like, whatever, I'm out. So we pull up to San Francisco Airport, International, right? SFO. I duck down, take one last hit of meth, grab my grandma, black tar, heroin, shove it in my ass.
In a taxi?
No, my friend Brooklyn drove me.
And you're smoking meth in the car with her?
Well, she gets high too.
Okay.
So grab the grandma heroin, shove it in my ass.
Like in between your cheeks or in your ass?
Not in my ass, never in my ass, in between my cheeks.
Okay. Not, you gotta distinguish
not in
that.
the butthole.
You cheeked it.
Cheeked it.
Okay, you put it in your butt cheeks.
Yeah. I get on the airplane, right? I'm smoking heroin in the bathroom.
Wait, okay, so how much grams of heroin do you put in your butt cheeks?
Just one.
1 gram of heroin?
Anytime I got pulled over,
And
I'd do it.
Were they doing the thing where they do the
I
thing?
was scared shitless.
Wait. They had the machine where you have to stand like that and the thing swirls around? Wow, and they didn't find it?
I got tinfoil in my pack of cigarettes. I got a straw in my backpack. And I got a gram of black tar in my butt cheeks.
And they didn't find it?
Nope.
Wow. So that's the trick.
Then I smoke heroin in the bathroom. 30,000
Every
feet
time
up.
I do that, I wonder how I would get drugs through that.
You know
I
what?
don't know why.
From what I hear now is that it's not even for drugs. It's for like metal and fucking things, like other things.
Yeah, but if you're wearing a necklace under your shirt, they can see it. If you have like a scrunched up thing, it's kind of hard to bring it through there. But all right, keep going.
I get the FLL. I'm not done yet. All right, I still have, I only smoked like a point in the bathroom, which I almost got caught. The suitor's like, were you just smoking? No, whatever.
In the airplane bathroom?
Yeah. I'm running to bathroom, smoking heroin.
In the airport?
In the airport.
Okay.
What got me to stop was I was in a stall, and all of a sudden, I hear the door open, and then a jingle of keys. It was the sheriff. And I was like, yo, fuck this, I'm out, dude. So I go get picked up. I got a half gram left, right? I fucking cheek it again, get in the car, go to the facility. Well, I hid that bitch as far up there as I could without actually going in my asshole. And they didn't find it. So after I get dressed, I go back into the bathroom and I take it out. Yo, I looked in the mirror and something just came over me. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this shit no more. This isn't what I was 28. I was like, I don't want to live like this no more. And I flushed it. I flushed a half gram of heroin. And that was the last time. That day was the last day I ever used.
How long you been clean now?
That was September 13th, 2016. So I have a little over 5.5 years.
Congrats. That's awesome. What was your first year clean like? What do you think was the difference between you staying clean and other people not?
I can't really lie. So besides step work, I dove deep into a 12-step based program. My first 8.5 months clean, I was doing 12 meetings a week. As soon as I had 3 months clean, I started paneling for H&I. As soon as the day I had 6 months clean, I got an H&I commitment.
For people that don't know, H&I is when you volunteered and bring in a meeting to a facility and you have to get a speaker. And
No. I had 2 home groups. Right? I had no reservations and double trouble. I got a sponsor, man. And I got the sponsor that was the best for me because I didn't know how the fuck to live. I literally did anything that he told me to fucking do. I think that what it was yes, doing all that stuff, finding a real, someone who worked at the treatment center that I went to straight up told me, don't hang out with the kids in halfway. Hang out with the kids with multiple years clean. And that's what I did. I found people with 90 days, when I had 90 days clean that had a year, had 2 years, had 3 years. And that's who I went towards. People that could actually stay clean. I didn't hang out with people with less clean. I didn't hang out with people less than a year. And I finally got to the point where I didn't want to use. I finally got to that point where I would do anything it took for me to never use ever again. 6 months clean, dude. We had the spiritual retreat.
Oh, that's so dope, right?
My sponsor was like, listen, you got to do it. My sponsor made me do your first year there. You got to get a tent. You got to sleep in the tent.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said.
We're talking about Drew?
Yes.
I don't think I ever said that, and I don't think he's ever stayed in a tent. Did he stay in a tent?
I don't. Probably not. But I did.
I stayed in a tent for 3 years. I didn't even have a concept of getting a hotel room. I didn't even think to do that.
I feel like that would ruin it because so much shit happens all day and all night.
No, dude. Now that I have money, I'm definitely getting a hotel room, bro.
Yeah, it gets a little warm out there.
It is horrible, dude. Camping with 100-degree weather, I can't sleep unless it's really cold. Now looking back, I was like, that was crazy. But at the time when I would go to the spiritual retreat, I was just so grateful to be there. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the whole. I still do think it's the coolest thing ever. I've never missed a year. No matter what was going on in my life, dude, I was at the spiritual retreat.
It was amazing.
It's so amazing, dude.
That and Gikna, dude, is one of the main reasons why I really stayed clean.
Yeah, the conventions, the camaraderie, the fellowship.
There's fucking nothing like it.
Yeah, you're just laughing and fucking around the whole time. It's just such a good. It just feels like home. It just feels like a family reunion.
That's what really saved me the most was the fellowship because I finally had people who accepted who Ryan really was, and I finally had people who were like me. I was a black sheep back home, but here I found the rest of the herd, and I could be Ryan for the first time in my life ever. That's really what kept me clean for my first year. But I mean, like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I didn't really think about using. Like, my first year clean was fucking amazing. Like, yo, I wasn't halfway till I had like 14 and a half months clean, but like halfway back then was just so much fun. And like, I didn't complain about anything. Like, I lived in the moment for that first year clean because I had no responsibilities but to stay clean.
Yeah, it feels so. That first year clean is just, it's like the college I never went to, you know? It really was. And like even when I got clean, I was at my parents' house. Like, dude, I was going to everyone's halfway house. I would wake up in the morning and rush over there because I didn't want to miss anything. Dude, people would be fucking playing dominoes, playing spades, fucking around. People would be like reading the Just for Today in the morning, and like we'd go to the beach and hang out all night and go to the meeting and talk shit. And
you know, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of new kids and shit aren't staying clean. Is because they don't take their first year for what it's supposed to be. They want to rush out of halfway. They want to rush into like a crazy ass job. They want to get an apartment, get a car. It's like, yo, chill, man.
That was going on back then, though.
Yeah.
That always goes on. That doesn't go away.
Yeah, I guess.
Everybody does that.
Everyone that I was friends with did all that, though. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I just feel like, man, if your first year clean is really fucking fucked up and dirty and grungy and fucking shitty and you're living paycheck to paycheck and in debt and fucking... If your first year clean is fucked, dude, the rest of it's going to be so good. Yeah. But if your first year clean is fucking shiny and fucking cute and you got like a dope car and you have like a hot girlfriend and a high-paying job, probably not going to make it.
Dude, if I had a high-paying job, my first year clean, there's no fucking way.
Bro, my first 5 years clean. You know, but it's because it's like recovery was such a priority, bro. My job was like fucking cigarette money.
Yeah.
Like, that's all my job was. My job was like cigarette money and gas money. That's all it was to me. I didn't give a fuck about my job. Yeah. And yeah, I was young, but at the same time, it's like, bro, I cared about my recovery so much. I chose not to go to college because I wanted to go to my home group. I saw all these kids making money in phone rooms, and I knew deep down, like, dude, I would fucking fuck my life up if I was making $1,000 a week. Because I just knew, like, dude, I need to go slow. Like, I need to fucking... I've gone fast my whole life. My whole life, all I did was go fast.
And all you do is crash and burn.
And fucking start over. Do the whole shit all over again, you know? I was just obsessed with building it up and tearing it down and building it up and tearing it down, where at one point I was like, dude, I got to stop tearing it down and build it up slower. I don't know, dude. I saw a lot of people I get clean with do that same thing all over again. Yeah. Get clean. Get the phone room sales job in South Florida, fucking go lease a car, go get like some bullshit girlfriend, and then fucking 9 months clean, they fucking get high. Mm-hmm. They hold it together for a little bit. They might even pick up a medallion high, and then they do it all over again. Yeah. And they lose it all, and then they fucking get clean, and they say, I'm going to stand halfway for a year. I'm going to do it this time. And then after 2 months, they're like, dude, I can't do this halfway bullshit. And then they fucking get some fucking girl.
Halfway was so much fun for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just...
Yeah, maybe it's not fun for anybody, but whether it's fun or not, you got to do it, you know?
Oh, 100%. I wanted to leave halfway. Drew was like, no.
Mm-hmm. I think everyone should do halfway for like a year, at least 9 months. I tell my guys 9 months, and then I trick them to do a year. I'm like, oh, you already had 9 months. You might as well just do a year.
I think it's very important because you need to at least get that year clean.
Dude, I don't know what I would do if like left to my own devices by myself. I wanted to go to halfway so bad.
I went back to halfway with 2 years clean.
Yeah, you needed it. So what else has gone on in your life since you've been clean? How's your family relationship changed?
Fucking amazing. I'm going to Mexico with my whole entire family at the third week of April.
That's cool.
I get to go home now, and my stepdad lets me stay at the house instead of making me get a hotel room like he did the first time I went home.
Wow, the first time you went home, how long did you have clean?
A year.
You had a year clean.
I was not allowed to leave the state of Florida until I had a year clean.
And your family said, hey, we know you have a year, but you're not staying here?
Correct.
That's awesome.
I mean, dude, cool. I robbed them blind.
Yeah.
Like, yo, I took everything from them. So it wasn't until I had 18 months. No, actually 18 months when I went home for my sister's wedding. Still had to stay in a hotel room. It wasn't until I had 2 years clean that I was allowed to stay at my house.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's because it's like, I remember when I had like a couple months clean, I was complaining about like my dad. I'm like, oh, my dad doesn't even talk to me or he hates me or whatever. And I'll do this guy, Steve, was smoking a cigarette outside and he was like, bro, my parents haven't talked to me in 3 years. And he had 3 years clean. And that's when I was like, wow. Yeah. Like, maybe I should be grateful. And it's like in recovery, like we learn to be in the solution and not be a victim, you know? Because a lot of people have this misinterpretation that like 12-step program is like a victim type of like poor me, pity party. But it's really the opposite.
Yeah.
It's about like, nah, motherfucker, let's take accountability for what you fucking have been doing the past couple years clean. And just because you've been clean for a couple months doesn't mean that everyone's going to fucking be happy with your ass.
Exactly.
And people got to recover from what you did to them. Just because you're good now doesn't mean that they are. You were fucking
Doesn't mean
high.
that they even believe you.
Yeah, 1,000%. They probably don't. They probably shouldn't. You know, I used to be so mad about that. Like, they don't believe that I'm clean.
I wasn't. See, that's the thing is that I wasn't mad that I had to stay in a hotel room. I understood.
That's cool.
Like, I fucked you guys up.
Yeah.
I get it. But like now it's not, yo, and like another thing too is like going home. I never went home without at least one person because I didn't trust myself till I had like 3 years clean. 3 years
That's
clean,
cool.
I think Christmas was the first time I went home by myself.
So you wouldn't even go home unless someone was helping chaperone.
Correct.
That's cool. You know, you got to do whatever you need for your recovery and be honest with yourself. And like, bro, there's no shame in asking for help. Like, if you really think that this situation is going to be difficult for you, you got to ask yourself and have some self-honesty to be like, yo, I don't want to go. I had a trip booked for me to go to California when I had a few months clean. And I didn't have the balls to say, I don't think I should go because I think I'm going to get high. And I snuck in contraband into treatment and got prolonged to stay there longer. And I did that like on purpose to stay because I was scared that if I got on a plane and went somewhere that I would want to use.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed to say I would get high. Like, to me, wanting to use after being clean for a while was like, dude, my parents didn't want to hear that shit. Like, I was scared that somebody was going to say, like, what's the fuck's the matter with you?
Yeah. You know, the most important thing for me that has happened to me in the 5.5 years is I've actually figured out who I really am because I wasn't me for such a long time that I forgot who I really was. And like, I think that's one of the reasons why I know why I'm still clean today is because I figured out who I really am. And like, that's why I protect it like anything else. And like, that's why I never went home without somebody. You know, my first time I went home, I went with Jeff, Amber, Dan, Stacy, and Ange. I went home with 5 people.
Wow, that's cool.
Because
Yeah,
I
people show you
needed
love.
I needed people there. Because I knew what would happen. All it would take was one phone call from one person. Like if my ex hit me up, that's a wrap. She's still using.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's easy to say no to the pizza when you're not at a pizza party. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of times people are like, I don't even feel like using. Yeah, bro, because you're here talking to my ass. And
If you're out there and someone off,
it's like, what happens when you're alone?
no one's around.
No one's around.
No one. You'll think no one will ever know that you did.
No one's going to know. Now you're in a different environment. You know, I want to eat healthy when I'm at the gym. What do I do on my way home on 9 o'clock at night and I'm getting hungry, you know? And fucking I could order something, you know? So it's like, you know, your environment changes your state of mind. And it's foolish to make a decision in this state of mind depending on how I'm going to feel in another state.
Yeah.
In a different environment. A lot of times we underestimate how strong it really is because we've been in a safe environment.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like when I came out here, I changed my whole environment. Like I don't, I'm in Florida. Like besides my friends from back home in California, I am not friends with anybody that's not in recovery. I don't hang out with one person that's not in recovery anymore. When I go back home, it's different, but like I'm fine. They know who the fuck I am too. It's like they guard me.
Yeah.
You know, all my boys are like normal back home. Like they drink, they smoke weed and shit, but like they don't even.
Yeah. I remember this one time I was at a nightclub with my business partner. And bro, my business partner is like super, he fucks with me. Like he's not intimate. Like he's not like nice and cuddly at all. And I remember this one time we're at some club or whatever, and this girl was like asking me if I wanted to drink, and he's like, yo, he doesn't drink. And then she's like, oh, come on, da-da-da. He's like, yo, he doesn't drink. And she asked again, he's like, yo, he doesn't fucking drink. Get the fuck away from here.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because like, he was like, are you okay? Like, you know, I have people in my life that aren't addicts, but they understand that like this shit is serious to me.
Yeah.
And it's a difference between having, like I had someone the other day who was like, oh yeah, me and my girl were dating for a while and she wasn't an addict. And then I just said I wanted to drink and she was like, okay. It's like, bro, what type of people are you hanging out with?
Yeah. It's just real cool that like my recovery has affected others who aren't even addicts. Like I got to go home and go to my boy's wedding and stuff, and like that's what's really cool is because like yo, I alienated all my friends back home, and like now I'm getting invited to weddings back home and stuff, and like you know it's just real cool.
Hey, well I want to thank you for coming on the show, Ryan C. I love you very much.
Love you too.
This show is not affiliated with any specific 12-step program. If you or a loved one is struggling with an addiction, please find a local 12-step meeting. If you believe you may need detox or drug treatment of any kind, please call 833-999-1877 to speak to a specialist. This show is sponsored by United Recovery Project, a state-of-the-art drug and alcohol rehab facility. You can visit our website at unitedrecoveryproject.com.